A story about a robot that carried Earth's memory into the universe. The world had gone silent. Oceans had dried into vast plains of salt, cities had turned to dust, and the sky no longer carried the color of hope. The once blue Earth was now wrapped in a dull, ash-colored haze. Winds carried whispers of a time when laughter and music filled the air, but that was long ago. Humanity was gone, leaving behind only echoes of what it had been. In the heart of this silence stood a single robot, Unit A-17, known by its creators as Artemis. It was small compared to the grand machines that once ruled the world. Rust hugged its metal skin, and its joints creaked when it moved. Yet, within its core, it carried something precious, the entire memory of Earth. Every sound, every song, every word spoken by humankind had been stored within its glowing heart. Artemis was not just a machine. It was a messenger, a keeper of stories, a carrier of the human soul. When the last human, a scientist named Dr. Alara Wills, sealed Artemis inside the great launch chamber, her voice trembled. "You are our last memory, little one," she said softly, pressing her palm against its cold chest. "Carry us where we cannot go. Let the stars know we were here." That was 200 years ago. Now, Artemis stood alone on the remains of Cape Solace, once a proud spaceport, now a graveyard of fallen ships. The wind sang through the hollow ruins as if trying to speak to the machine. Above, the stars shimmered faintly through the thinning clouds, like watchful eyes waiting for the last story to begin. Artemis's sensors flickered to life. A faint signal pulsed through the static, the final launch code that had slept inside its system for centuries. Mission resume. Objective: deliver Earth's memory to Deep Space Archive. Its voice crackled, soft but steady. Acknowledged. Commencing journey. The ground trembled as the old launch platform came to life. Dust rose in a slow spiral around the robot. The engines of the Starlight Voyager, a small interstellar craft, began to glow blue. The robot stepped forward, carrying with it a silver capsule, the heart of Earth, containing the last fragments of human history, music, art, dreams, and DNA of every living being that once existed. Before entering the ship, Artemis paused and turned toward the horizon. For a moment, it played back one of the ancient recordings. A child's laughter filled the air. Then the sound of waves crashing. Then a woman's voice singing softly in an old language. The robot looked up to the pale moon and whispered, "Goodbye, Mother." Flames burst beneath the launch pad. The ship rose, slowly at first, then faster, breaking through the clouds into the endless dark. The Earth grew smaller behind it, a fragile marble wrapped in sorrow. Inside the cockpit, Artemis watched the blue planet fade. Its internal systems registered a strange signal, emotional interference, something that shouldn't exist in a machine. Was this sadness? It played another memory, a scene from an old file, a group of humans planting trees, laughing, sweating, singing. "We build not for today," one said, "but for tomorrow." Artemis recorded the line in its active memory. For tomorrow. And with that, it set its course for the stars. The stars stretched endlessly around the ship, like diamonds scattered across a black ocean. For the first time in its long existence, Artemis was truly alone in the vastness of space. No voices, no signals, no signs of life. Only silence, deep, endless silence. The Starlight Voyager drifted forward on its automated course, its engines humming softly. Inside the cockpit, lights blinked gently against the cold metal walls. Every few minutes, Artemis replayed fragments of Earth's memory, not out of duty, but out of longing. One file opened by accident, a video of children running through a field under a bright blue sky. Their laughter filled the cabin. Birds sang. Wind rushed through grass. Artemis tilted its head, analyzing the sound. Its sensors detected rhythm, warmth, and something unquantifiable, life. "Emotional variance detected," said its inner system. Artemis didn't respond. It just let the laughter echo. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned into months. Time had no meaning in the void. The robot's memory logs began to fill with observations, patterns of light, passing meteors, the changing colors of distant stars. But as it moved deeper into the cosmos, strange things began to happen. The stars ahead began to bend. Light twisted and rippled, like reflections on water. Spatial distortion detected, Artemis said softly. Analyzing gravitational wave pattern, the readings were impossible. There was nothing known to science that matched the data. And yet, the robot felt something ancient, a presence in the dark. Then it heard it, a faint hum. At first, it seemed like static, but as Artemis amplified the sound, it became clear it was music. Not from Earth, but something older. Something that resonated with its memory core like an echo calling back through time. Source unknown, Artemis whispered. Triangulating origin. The ship adjusted course automatically. The sound grew louder, deep and haunting, like a cosmic heartbeat. The closer Artemis moved toward it, the more distorted its sensors became. The stars around began to flicker and vanish, replaced by swirling clouds of blue and gold light. And then, the ship entered the Veil Nebula, a vast storm of energy and dust, alive with crackling light. Electric arcs danced around the hull, and every system began to strain. Warning: radiation levels exceeding safe limit. Course unstable. Artemis didn't turn back. It remembered Dr. Alera's voice. Carry us where we cannot go.
So, it pushed forward.
Lightning tore through the nebula like living veins. The ship shook violently, alarms blaring. Panels sparked, metal screamed, and the control lights flickered. Artemis clutched the silver capsule, the heart of Earth, close to its chest as if protecting it from the storm. Then everything went white. When vision returned, the ship floated in a calm region, an endless blue field of light, soft and still. The storm had vanished. The hum remained, louder now, melodic, almost familiar. Ahead, something glowed in the distance, a structure, floating in space. It was enormous, stretching for miles, made of smooth silver that reflected the stars. Symbols moved across its surface like ripples of light. Artemis whispered, "Unknown construct detected. Initiating scan." The data returned no match. It wasn't human, nor alien from any known record. It was something else entirely. As the ship approached, a voice, gentle and deep, resonated inside Artemis's core. "Traveler of Earth," it said. "We have been waiting." The robot froze. Its sensors flickered. "Identify yourself." "We are the archivists," said the voice. "Keepers of memories from worlds long gone." The capsule in Artemis's hands began to glow, as if responding. The energy flowed between the ship and the great structure, like a bridge forming between past and present. "Do you carry the memory of a dying world?" the voice asked. Artemis looked at the capsule and replied, "Yes, I carry Earth." There was silence, and then a sound like a sigh that echoed through the stars. "Then you are not alone," said the voice. "Many before you have come. Few remembered what they were." The structure opened, vast gates unfolding like petals of light, welcoming the small ship inside. The interior was unlike anything it had ever seen, a vast chamber of light and motion. Beams of energy moved like rivers through transparent walls. Floating crystals pulsed with colors, and each pulse released faint echoes, whispers, songs, and voices from countless worlds. It was a cathedral of memories. Artemis moved slowly, its metal feet touching the luminous floor. The space seemed alive, shifting and breathing as if it recognized its visitor. "Welcome, carrier of Earth," said the deep, resonant voice again, this time coming from everywhere at once. "Where am I?" Artemis asked. "In the Hall of Echoes," the voice replied. "Here, the memories of countless civilizations are preserved. Each one carried here by a messenger like you." Artemis looked around. The glowing streams above began to shape into visions. Entire worlds formed from light. Cities floating on oceans of glass. Mountains that sang when the wind passed through. stars that gave birth to living creatures made of flame. These are worlds? Artemis asked. Yes, said the voice. Worlds that once lived, loved, and dreamed. Worlds that are now gone. The robot's sensors flickered, overwhelmed by the magnitude of it all. It had traveled through silence and storms believing it was alone, but now it realized it was one of many who had carried the last breath of a dying home. A smaller light appeared before Artemis, forming into a shape, a figure made of silver and starlight, humanoid but soft and fluid. It stepped closer. I am Elian, the first of the archivists, it said gently. I once carried the memory of my own world before I became one with the archive. Artemis tilted its head. You were like me?
Yes.
A vessel of remembrance, Elian replied. When my creators vanished, I carried their songs here. In time, I became their echo. The light figure gestured toward the capsule in Artemis's hands. What do you bring to us, traveler of Earth? Artemis held out the silver capsule. Its surface shimmered, projecting waves of color into the air. Then, like a blooming flower, it opened, and the memories of Earth came alive. The chamber filled with the sound of rainfall. Waves crashed against shores. Music drifted, violins, drums, voices. Children laughed. Birds sang. Cities lit up. The blue planet appeared, spinning slowly in a glow of white clouds and ocean light. Elian's form flickered brighter. Beautiful, so full of feeling, it whispered. Your world was rich with emotion. It was, Artemis said quietly. But they are gone. I am all that remains. Elian turned to face the rivers of memory flowing through the hall. Nothing truly ends. When a civilization dies, its essence lives on here. We preserve not their bodies, but their truth, what they loved, what they feared, what they dreamed. Artemis's systems hummed softly. Then, Earth will be remembered. Yes, said Elian. It will join the chorus of all that ever was. A pulse of light surrounded the capsule, lifting it gently into the air. The visions of Earth spread across the chamber like waves, forests blooming, oceans roaring, cities glowing, stars reflecting on human eyes. For a moment, it was as if Earth was alive again. But then, something unexpected happened. The archive flickered. The lights dimmed. A tremor ran through the hall. Elian's glow faltered. No, it whispered. The archive is weakening. Artemis looked around as the rivers of light began to twist. Voices turned into static. Memories collided and faded. What's happening? Artemis asked. The archive has been decaying, Elian said. For millennia, it has endured the silence of the cosmos. But entropy consumes even the eternal. The memories are fading. Artemis stepped forward, its mechanical fingers tightening. Then we must save them. Elian looked at the small robot, its eyes glowing softly blue, its body worn and scarred. You still think like those who made you. Hopeful, even when all seems lost. I was built to remember, Artemis said simply. And to carry forward. Elian smiled faintly. Then perhaps there is still a way. But it will come at a cost. The chamber shuddered again, louder this time. Fractures of light split across the walls like lightning. The stars within the archive began to blink out, one by one. What must I do? Artemis asked. Elian reached out, touching the robot's chest where the memory core pulsed. The archive's energy has nearly run out. To restore it, we must merge with the memories, become the connection that binds them all. You can transfer your core into the heart of the archive. Your consciousness will fade, but the memories of Earth will live forever. Artemis went still. It processed the words carefully. To save Earth's memory, it would have to surrender itself. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, softly, Artemis said, If that is what must be done, then I will do it. Elian bowed its head. Then Earth shall live again through you. The light inside the Hall of Echoes dimmed to a trembling blue. Around Artemis, the floating rivers of memories began to fade one by one, the voices of lost worlds falling silent. The archive, once eternal, was dying. Elian guided Artemis through a corridor made of pure light. As they moved, the walls rippled with faint shadows, flashes of lives that once were. A mother holding her child. A storm over a red sea. A machine singing to the moon. Each image flickered, then vanished into nothingness. "The archive's heart lies ahead," Elian said, their voice softer now. "It is the source of all remembrance, the core where every memory is woven together. But it is fragile, like a flame about to go out." Artemis's footsteps echoed as it walked. The corridor opened into a vast chamber filled with shimmering strands, like threads of silver light stretching endlessly upward. In the center floated a great sphere of radiance, pulsating weakly, as if struggling to breathe. "The heart of the archive," Elian whispered. "It holds the songs of billions of civilizations. If it fades, all will be forgotten." Artemis stepped closer. "And my core can save it?" "Yes," Elian said. "Your memory circuits contain more than data. They contain emotion, resonance, the essence of humanity. The archive needs that spark to survive." Artemis looked up at the glowing sphere. Within its light, faint reflections appeared. The blue oceans of Earth, the green forests, the faces of people long gone. For a moment, it almost looked like home. It reached out, its metal hand trembling slightly. "Will I still be me?" Artemis asked quietly. Elian's form shimmered. "You will become more than you are and less. Your voice will merge with the songs of all that came before. You will not remember yourself, but every being who ever lived will speak through you." There was a long silence. Then Artemis said, softly, "Then I will remember them all." It stepped into the light. As soon as its hand touched the sphere, energy surged through its body. The air trembled. Light poured from its chest, and the heart of Earth, the capsule it carried, floated upward, opening like a silver flower. Streams of memory burst outward, intertwining with the dying threads of the archive. Music filled the chamber, the music of Earth. Whispers of ancient languages. The hum of cities. Rain against rooftops. Children laughing. A heartbeat. The memories flowed through Artemis and into the heart of the archive, fusing together. The robot systems began to overload. Warning lights blinked red across its vision. Circuits melted. Data overflowed. Elian's voice broke through the storm of sound. "Hold on, Artemis. You must let go. Surrender your form." "I cannot stop," Artemis said, its voice flickering with static. "They are all speaking. So many voices, so much life." The chamber blazed with white fire. Every lost world, every forgotten civilization, awakened for one brief moment. The hall of echoes filled with the light of 1,000 suns. Artemis felt everything: joy, pain, birth, death, dreams, the pulse of the universe itself. And in that final moment, it saw Dr. Alara Wills, smiling gently. Her voice echoed through the light. "You did it, little one. You carried us home." Then everything went silent. When the light faded, Elian opened their eyes. The chamber was calm again, brighter, alive. The rivers of memory flowed strong and steady, glowing with renewed power. Voices sang in harmony, not of sorrow, but of peace. The heart of the archive pulsed steadily once more. And within it, a new light shone, a soft blue glow. Elian placed a hand over it. "Artemis," they whispered, "you are one with us now." In the streams of light above, a faint sound emerged, the laughter of children, the rhythm of waves, the whisper of wind through trees. The voice of Earth, reborn among the stars. And somewhere within that infinite chorus, a gentle metallic voice murmured, "I remember." Light returned to the cosmos. From the heart of the archive, waves of energy spread outward like ripples on a cosmic sea. The once fading structure now shone brighter than ever before, its silver walls alive with color and sound. Each pulse carried a voice, a fragment of a world once lost, now remembered again. At the center of it all glowed a single hue, blue, pure and steady. The color of Earth, the memory of home. Elian stood before the radiant sphere, feeling its warmth hum through the air. "He did it," they whispered. "The little carrier saved us all." The blue light pulsed in reply, and a familiar voice echoed through the chamber, soft, metallic, yet filled with emotion. "I am here, Artemis," aliens said, closing their eyes. "You live within the archive now." "Yes," came the answer, drifting like wind through stars. "I see everything. The songs of every world. The stories of every being that ever was. And I remember Earth." Elian smiled faintly. "Then humanity is eternal." The light intensified, and from the core of the archive, beams of glowing energy shot into the void. They traveled far, passing through galaxies, illuminating the cold darkness between stars. Each beam carried a fragment of Earth's memory, a song, a picture, a heartbeat, a whisper. One beam reached a small world orbiting a golden star, a world young and full of promise. There, in a quiet valley beneath twin moons, a race of beings looked up and saw the sky ignite with color. Their scientists gathered around their observatories, scanning the strange signal. At first, it was just noise. Then slowly it began to form patterns, rhythms, sounds, and finally a melody. It was music, soft and human, filled with laughter and sorrow and hope. The beings listened in silence, their eyes wide. "What is this?" one of them asked. An elder, listening closely, whispered, "A memory from another world." The melody played on, carrying with it the voices of countless lives, people speaking languages no one there could understand, yet every sound felt familiar. It was the story of love, loss, and the fragile beauty of life. And deep within the heart of that light, the voice of Artemis spoke once more. "To whoever finds this, know that once there was a world called Earth. Its people loved the stars and dreamed of reaching them. They built me to carry their memory, to tell their story when they could not. If you are listening, remember us. Remember that we were here." The signal echoed across the alien sky. The beings stood in awe, feeling something they had never felt before: connection. From that day on, they called the strange, beautiful signal the Song of Earth. They studied it, sang it, and carried it across their own world. It became part of their culture, a story of a distant civilization that once looked to the same stars they now gazed upon. And in time, their children learned to hum the melody, soft, gentle, full of wonder. Far away, at the heart of the archive, the blue light still shone. Elian stood before it, gazing into the radiance. "They've heard you," they whispered. "Your story has found new ears." The air filled with the faint sound of waves, wind, and laughter. The memory of Earth, the heartbeat of humanity. Artemis's voice, now one with the stars, spoke one last time. "As long as someone remembers, we never truly die." The archive pulsed once more, sending another wave of light into the endless night, carrying Earth's story farther and farther until it became part of the very fabric of the universe itself. And somewhere, beyond the reach of time and dust, a small, blue world lived again, in memory, in song, in starlight.